A carriage rolled into the village square. More guards patrolled than most had ever seen. Such visits from the castle were so rare that in this village none had ever been. A boy stared up the hill to castle gates, that far-off place where he'd seen nobles pass. Before today he'd seen none deviate. Up close he saw the carriage paned with glass. He'd never seen so much all in one place. The footman's clothes bore red and purple dyes. Atop his shoes the mud had left no trace. He pulled the door that those inside might rise. A man in cape and crown alit the perch, and made his way towards the village church. While other eyes were watching kings descend, the boys were drawn to one who lagged behind. The prince approached the boy much like a friend. The boy, just 6, had manner unrefined. They told me boys would always bow their heads. Are you a son of kings and queens as well? The boy said, no, my folks grind grains for breads. That windmill sits atop the place we dwell. My brother says that millers lie and thieve. The prince did not intend his words to hurt. My mother says that we should not believe the words of those who see fit to assert opinions on a trade they've never known. You'll trust the grain gets smaller once you're shown. The boy then took the prince's hand to lead him toward the windmill at the village edge. A woman moved to stop the pair and plead with royal guard already to allege a threat of death against their youngest charge. But mother, I just want to show the truth, the boy said when the mother sought to barge between the pair and beg upon their youth that harm was not a motive of her son. She held him back behind her legs and stood defiant, staring down the sword that spun in one guard's hand as others watched who could have stayed impending blades that villains bade to slay a boy afraid in castle shade. My son would not know how to hurt the prince, the woman wept as guards and blades encroached. There has not been a noble visit since his birth, so protocol has not been broached, nor etiquette been central to his days. Her words met hearts whose strings were stone congealed from blood that plucked a muted drive to raise and plunder, all the world a battlefield. Enough of this, you are not judge or priest, no laws are yours to meet as you see fit. The prince's valet spoke and motion ceased. The king will choose to sentence or acquit. Imagine how a blameless boy cut down would blight the reputation of the crown. The king returned with priest a step behind. I see no threat, and yet your swords are drawn. He did not waste a word and seemed inclined to wait for explanations to be borne to him that he might deem them worth his breath. The valet of the prince stepped forth to speak. The king grew still when told of threats of death. Your view of little boys is surely bleak. My guard is not a place for cruelty's thrall. I'll see your rank and weapon stripped post-haste. The role of youth is judgment on us all. Injustice dealt by us must be replaced by systems built by those so bold to dream. A friend his age might build my son's esteem. A prince's duty is to know his court. That was excuse enough to sway the queen, to grant the prince a friend beyond the fort. She smuggled books and toys along unseen. The prince kept finding more inside his bags each time he left the castle walls to play. I do not understand the way he sags, the prince confided to the queen one day. Each time I bring a book, he is put out. Do you assume a miller's boy can read? She asked her son, delighting in his shout. He raced away through castle halls to plead. At first his valet swore he'd not conspire. Within the week, the prince had his desire. You cannot say who taught you how to write, the valet pulled the boy aside to say. We do not know what fuss it could incite. Some nobles might believe you've debt to pay. This skill will serve you well throughout your life, but jealousy will plague you from above. Among the wealthy, hoardsome thoughts are rife, but words are wealth we all are worthy of. Are guards who falsely charge just jealous too? The valet paused a beat, then shook his head. That paranoia's something that's accrued. It has no single source and often spreads. I dare say you'll encounter it again. You'll learn in time those kinds are of a ken. The girl first came along when she turned 3. "This is my sister Suhit," said the prince. The little girl explored the mill with glee. "You can't touch that unless your hands are rinsed." The princess laughed up to the woman's lap. "My mother likes to keep the flour clean. It's best if food and dirt don't overlap. I would have thought you'd learned this by 15. The prince's teasing did not faze his friend. "Your little Suhit does not know it yet. She's quite the slippery crook to apprehend. Behavior I've seen royalty abet. I think this once I'll let our rogue go free." The miller let the princess off her knee. "Adventures to the mill are such good fun. When will you tell me all the ones before?" asked Suhit once her class that day was done. The princess threw herself down on the floor. "These lessons on decorum are so dull. I'd rather learn the myths of distant lands, or walk along the docks and see the gulls. Your valet says he feeds them from his hands." "My valet fills your little head with lies. Besides, all those are ordinary things. In time you'll come to know the world's true size." "I know no matter what the future brings, I'll always find adventure everywhere." The princess shot the prince a scornful glare. The miller's boy and Suhit spied the prince. His valet snatched a tulip from his grasp, then scolded him enough for him to wince. The boy's left arm bloomed red from Suhit's clasp. The prince approached, his face a mask of gloom. "What did he say to make you look so glum?" the princess asked, too glib to give him room. The prince's ire floated like a thrum, but he did not direct his rage her way. He did not overstep his duty's call, the prince told Suhit, careful to portray a sense of candor in his voice to stall campaigns of wrathful sobs on his behalf. His secret truth could not be telegraphed.